Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to make some butter. I attempted to make some sourdough bread and I did make some pancakes. I've seen this over the internet and I'm a little late to the party, but I feel like there's no time like the better. I actually had some heavy whipping cream that was left over in my refrigerator, so it wasn't a lot of it. It was probably like half of that container I just showed you guys. I poured it inside of my KitchenAid mixer and I blended it on a fairly fast speed. While I was waiting for the butter or the heavy whipping cream to become butter, I went ahead and took out my sourdough starter. So I do have the recipe that was given to me by my coworker, and that's coming up now. So if you want to screenshot this next picture, please do so now, because I'm not going to be able to tell you how much I'm putting in each portion, because again, this was my first time doing this recipe as well, so I'm not too familiar with giving like the measurements of everything and walking it through with you guys. So I would definitely screenshot that if you're wanting to make this recipe. Again, it was given to me by a friend, so I do not know the original creator of it. But what I will say is, I know I've never shown on my channel the process of me making bread. I've been making bread for about 2 years because I was motivated by another coworker who said it was so much fun, and she'd gotten the recipe from her sister-in-law who had gotten it from someone. It's actually called friendship bread. I will create a video of that and show you guys that process. To me, the sourdough starter and the recipes, now this recipe was a very great recipe, but making the bread, I tried to do that and my bread loaf just did not come out right, so I probably need to revisit this. So at this point, I think this heavy whipping cream is becoming a little more of a consistency of a butter, maybe like a buttercream. But it's been going now for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So when I watched all the reels, it just looks like people just poured the heavy whipping cream in there and just mixed it up until all of the whipping cream became butter. But I did notice that it was getting up on the edge, so I just took a spoon, the back of a spoon, and I just pushed it back down in there so it could continue to mix up properly. Now, it was very white at this point, and I know we normally see that butter is yellow, so I felt like I still needed to blend it up some more. So at this point, while I was mixing up the butter I was going back and forth to my sourdough pancakes. So I had my sourdough starter in there. I'm adding some water. It appears to be in this picture. Yep, in this video. So I'm adding some water in and I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to go ahead and mix up all of my ingredients. The thing about sourdough, you have to do everything in just about grams. And so it's kind of tricky, you know. Sometimes I would get a little too much and then I'd get not enough, so then I'd try to pour a little in and then it would throw it over. So I wasn't exact on this this measurement, and I feel like I probably maybe that was the problem, not really sure. But peeping back over at the butter, and at one point, it did get very sloshy to the point where I had to cover it with my towel. This was a very cool experience to just be able to just do. I like looking at reels and getting ideas and seeing, oh, I want to make that, or now this is what I would have done differently when it comes to like DIY stuff. But this, to me, it just fascinated me on how many people were taking this heavy whipping cream and just making butter. And I'm pretty sure this is not anything new. It's just new to the internet for this time period. But this afterwards, of course I ended up making the butter, and then I actually had buttermilk. So now I'm back to the starter. Everything has been mixed in per the recipe that my coworker had given to me. And I'm mixing it up with my bread whisk, just kind of trying to incorporate everything. It is very hard to do while holding the camera and holding, having one hand to mix. So I had to end up stopping what I was doing to go ahead and mix it up the correct way. And here is where I noticed that I should have had it in the mixer. So I had to cut it off because it's sloshing a bunch of, I guess that's the buttermilk. I had to cut the machine off because all of that was sloshing out everywhere. So I am going to put this little thing on here Let's see. Okay, put this on. Hopefully this will help. Now, let's cut it back on. Okay, let's see where we are. Ooh, look at the mess. Okay, let's see. Let's take this off. Well, is that butter? Is this it? This looks like it. I mean, I think I'm supposed to smush it together now. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to. Okay. Now I'm supposed to get some extremely cold water. Stand by. Okay. Let's take this off. Eat all the butter I can get. I'm supposed to get the milk. Let's see. Eat all this butter. I don't know why I enjoy doing stuff like this. Like, most people just be like, just go buy butter for crying out loud. But I do get a sense of enjoyment of just being able to say, hey, I made that butter. I made that bread, you know. I don't know. Maybe it's weird. Okay. I think I'm supposed to, all the reels I've seen, they actually form it a little bit. Okay, I can't do that with one hand, so I'll see you guys back later. This, I can't do anything more with it because I was mixing it up, went back to the recipe, and realized I'm supposed to have it in the stand mixer. But the stand mixer has homemade butter in the making, so I'm gonna come back to the bread in just a second. All right, okay, here we go. So excited. Woo! Got the buttermilk. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it into a ball so I can scoop it out. Feels like butter. I mean, not that I feel butter, but you know how when you cut it and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna mold it like so. And no, just a little bit, just a little squeeze. Okay, now I'm gonna put it into this ice cold bath because apparently that's supposed to, oh yeah, I can feel the difference. Where it was once sticky, now it's kind of, I made butter! Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'm supposed to put in there. I don't know how long I'm supposed to leave it in there. I didn't, nobody's ever shown that part. But I can tell, oh yeah, because now it's becoming to where you can firm it a little bit better. I think I'm gonna make, I don't know. Let's put it in there and let it sit for a little bit. Thanks to my cameraman for coming and saving the day. Okay, so like I said, initially when I pulled it out of the mixer, I noticed it was very tacky and to the point to where I know you usually don't handle butter in your hands, but what I did was it reminded me of when you cut butter and you go to spread it on something and it's kind of like a little tacky feeling to the knife. That's what it felt like on my hands. So I think the ice bath is supposed to help it where it doesn't, see, like if you notice now, it's not on my hands anymore. Whereas it once was very like, I had to go and wash my hands because they were just buttery, if that makes sense. So I think this is to harden it up and to get it where you can shape it. And it's actually pretty decent. Okay, so I think now I'm gonna try to shape it and put a little salt because right now it's unsalted. And I feel like I need to find a recipe to use this nice buttermilk that's been left behind. I remember growing up, my grandmother used to have buttermilk in the refrigerator and it used to gross me out because I drank it one time and it was horrible. So I think she'd be proud of me. You know when I make my own buttermilk? Okay, I don't want to mess up my bread, so I got to get this buttermilk out of here so I can start on my, get my bread in here. So I'm just going to put in this little cup for now. I can't find any mason jars. Probably gave them all away with my friendship bread. So I'm gonna leave that there and wash this really quick and then salt that. Okay, so basically what I did was I took the butter out of the ice bath and I put it into this little container that is just a regular Tupperware container, and I used some salt to salt it because the butter at this point had no extra seasoning to it. And I just went in with the spoon, tried to incorporate that around to make sure that it would salt it, the butter. Again here, some more trying to record and use one hand, but I was trying to mix up that salt that I had sprinkled in there, and I was trying to find ways to where you guys could see it by propping my phone up on other things. I think you guys are on my sugar container right here, but either way, it works, and you guys can kind of see. This butter, and I am not exaggerating, was the best butter I've tasted in forever. It just was it was very smooth, and it was, smooth is a crazy word to say, but it had a really, really good taste to it. To the point to where I want to just continue making my butter. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to still go and buy some butter because I don't want you guys to think that I'm not. But it was so good. Like, it was a fun project, and I really enjoyed doing it. That's good butter. That's really good. Well, here it is. Some homemade butter. Says it's supposed to be saggy. What is saggy? Like... Is this saggy? I don't know. I'm gonna let it sit for 30 minutes. Well, it's been sitting on the counter over there for easily 10 minutes. So I'm probably gonna let it sit in here for 20 minutes while I get the other ingredients together. Okay, I'm gonna chalk this up as a loss. This was a flop. It was a failure. I'm more than certain it was something that I didn't do on my part. So we'll have to revisit this potentially way later in the future. We're going to stop with this bread thing, and we're moving straight on to the pancakes, which were absolutely delicious. Y'all, I made butter. I made butter, and I'm excited about that. I think I will continue to do that. It's, yes, I can go to the store and buy it, and me getting the heavy whipping cream and buying it and making it gives me joy, brings me joy. I get to brag about it. So I probably will do that again too. It was really fun. So this is my sourdough starter, Meet Betty's Baby. My coworker gave me some of her starter, and her starter's name was Betty. So this is Betty's Baby. And this was probably my second or third time trying sourdough starter. To me, it is just so complicated. I mean, when I say feeding it every day and doing all the things that you're supposed to do to keep it alive is just a bit much. But the last few days, I've been saving my discard and keeping that in the refrigerator. So I have a good amount of that. So I think what I'll probably do is make maybe some homemade pancakes. I've done that before I understood the whole, once it rises, then use that as your discard, and that's like active. I don't know, it's a lot, still learning it. So this is not a tutorial. Do not trust what I'm saying. It's just trial and error at this point because this is my first time doing it. But I am going to use this. So, and this is the discard that I've been discarding off for the last few days. So if you are liking this, then keep watching. So I was kind of in a baking mood, and when I'm in these moods, I just get anything from my countertops and I will bake them or make them. So these were some Kodiak protein balls, and I felt like I had all the ingredients for this. It just required some water, honey, a nut butter, and then of course the box of Kodiak mix. So I just went ahead and got those things together and made these using just regular peanut butter, because that's what we had in our countertop. You know, I'm assuming if you do have like a peanut allergy or nut allergy, you can alter that butter with something else. And I used some local honey that we get from our local market that sells local honey. And so I put that in there, made those up and roll those into balls, and they were really good. I saw this little trick right here on Instagram on a reel where the lady, she said, if you're working with anything that's sticky, instead of making or having to clean up that little that measuring cup or whatever you're using, she said, just take it and push it into the dry goods and then squeeze it into that spot. And I was like, genius, where have you been all my life? So I did that and I liked it. And it is my common practice when I'm using anything that has a sticky residue to it and adding it into dry goods, then I will just make a little imprint inside of those dry goods and then squirt it directly there. Best reel I could have seen in a while. Below and let me know if you do that, if that's your common practice or not, but I thought it was a really cool practice. So I took my cookie scooper and just scooped them out because I felt like it would make them be more uniform rather than just picking up and randomly placing them. But I got quite a few out of this batch. And I just put my cookie sheet in the refrigerator for a little while, and that gave them the opportunity to harden up. For this recipe, I used flour, baking powder, honey, salt, 1 egg, coconut oil, and the cinnamon was optional. I like it, so I put it in there. I will do my best to try and find where I wrote the recipe down. My friend at work gave me this recipe, so it's not something that I can find. But if I can find something, if I cannot find it and I can find something similar to it, I will link that in the description box below. There are a lot of sourdough recipes out there, and I would encourage you, if you are wanting to get started in this or you're currently trying to find some recipes, go on Pinterest. There are really great recipes out there. But yeah, I'm sorry again that I do not have that information available to you right now. But yeah, and I think this recipe, if I'm not mistaken, because I am using my measuring cup, I think this recipe wasn't in grams. That was something else I liked about this recipe too. This is something that I've always been taught to do during baking. Comment below if it's if there's another way. But I put all of my wet ingredients together and combined those, and then I went back and put all my dry ingredients together, and then I mixed the two together to make the pancakes. Y'all, I am not joking you. These were the best pancakes with that homemade butter on top. All I needed was a homemade syrup. Like, I am not joking you. Like, I made several and they lasted for a few days, of course. But I did make up the whole batch, and we ate these for breakfast over the next few days, and they were delicious. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to make that recipe again. But again, I think it's just me and sourdough, and I'm so accustomed to using my friendship bread recipe. And to me, that one's a lot easier. You just feed the bread once a week, or the starter. And with this sourdough, like, you have to do it every day. Some people say, no, mine is so mature. I just look at it and feed it when I want to. And I cannot get this one down. I've tried it since this video. I don't know if I told y'all this already, but it's just a lot for me and my schedule. I'm not saying that it can't be done. It's just a lot for me. And so I just let my starter just die. Okay, so I put some of my homemade butter on there. Let's see, get some syrup. Looks delicious. Now let's see. Here's the true test. Oh my gosh. Definitely worth a try. All right, so while I was making the pancakes, by the way, we got all of these minus I ate 2, and my son is currently eating 1. And this is how the protein balls came out. They were not sticky, so that's a plus. I put those in a Tupperware box. My guys enjoyed them, and I did too. And that completes today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and share this video with someone who likes to do a homestead. I do air quotes when I say that. And remember, if you are not living life with Lon, then you're missing out. I'll talk to you guys the next one. Bye.